Hello, welcome to our first video from the Childminding Cafe. We are a new website providing online resources, coaching and inspiration for Ofsted registered childminders in England. If you want to find out more about us, please visit www.thechildmindingcafe.co.uk. I am Amanda, the founder of the Childminding Cafe, and I will guide you through this video. Okay, so this first video from the Childminding Cafe is to let you know about our EYFS 2012 Circle. EYFS stands for Early Years Foundation Stage and is the statutory framework that registered childminders in England work to. In September of 2012 it's changing to what we call the EYFS 2012. Before then it's what we call EYFS 2008. So as the name suggests, the EYFS circle is a continuous process with each stage leading on to the next. It's a suggested technique that you can use within your childminding setting to effectively observe, assess and plan for each child in your care using template documents that are available from the Childminding Cafe. So the EYFS circle highlights how each of the 4 documents should be used together with your general policies, procedures, records and other childminding management records to help you fulfil EYFS 2012 requirements. So the first stage and the first document in the EYFS circle is the Child's Learning Journey document. This is like a type of diary that you can use whenever you want, and it's good to have handy somewhere in your setting. We think it's best to have a learning journey pack for each child in your care. So often people might use a scrapbook or might print out pages. We have some pages you can print out at the Childminding Cafe, and you add to it as and when you see something of interest. So there's 4 sections to the learning journey. The first is an all about me section, which you can use to record information such as info about the child and their family, as well as what they like to eat, drink and what they like to do. This section you could complete at the start of the childminding relationship and then on an ad hoc basis. And if you could do it with the child and ask them the questions if possible, then that would be great. The second section within the learning journey, so we're still on the first part of the EYFS circle here, is all about the activities that the child does with you. This is what we call the learning stories section. The section contains sheets for recording information about specific activities that you undertake with your child. So here you can see a learning story sheet here. You can write about the activity, add in a photo, what you noticed at the outcome of the activity, ideas for follow-on activities, and how it could link with EYFS 2012 7 areas of learning and development, and also an area where if the child or the parent comments about the activity, then you can add that in as well. I found when I was childminding that filling in one of these for every activity you do is just too much, and would probably go against the EYFS 2012 principle of trying to reduce paperwork. So really we would suggest focusing on the activities that are relevant and interesting for the child's development. Okay, so still on the learning journey, the third section within the learning journey is the observations sheets section. Here there is a space for you to write observations as and when you see them or are told about them happening away from your setting. Some people like to write these directly into the sheets, other people like to put them on post-its and then stick them in, whatever works for you really. You can make the observations more relevant by highlighting which of the 7 areas of learning and development it relates to and who observed it. These observations feed into the observation boxes in the child's observation, assessment and planning record, which we'll come to in a minute. Finally, within the learning journey, there is a section for you to add any fun stuff that the child has been doing. So now we move from the learning journey to the second phase of the EYFS circle, the observation, assessment and planning record. Okay, so there's a lot really to talk about for this document, but really what it is just a record where you take the observations and you broadly assess those observations and come up with some plans, but we'll now go through it in a bit more detail. So the observation, assessment and planning record is used at the second stage of the EYFS circle and draws from the learning stories and the observations in the stage 1 of the circle, the child's learning journey. The planning outcomes for this record feed into stage 3 of the EYFS circle, the child's personal plan, which we'll come to in a minute. Again, it's best to use a separate observation, assessment and planning pack for each EYFS child in your care. Exactly who needs observation assessment and planning carried out. If you look at the EYFS 2012 statutory framework, that gives you more detail about who childminders need to consider as being an EYFS child and who doesn't. So, you need to complete this record with the help of the Development Matters in the Early Years Foundation Stage document, which is available to download from www.foundationyears.org.uk and our website www.thechildmindingcafe.co.uk. So this is sort of like the guidance that sits next to the statutory framework. So if you open the Development Matters document, and you look at the tables from page 8, these tables go through each of the 7 areas of learning and development and each of the aspects that leads to a learning goal for each of those 7 areas. Now, it's a bit complicated, but in EYFS 2012 there were 7 areas of learning and development, 17 aspects and 17 early learning goals. How I see it is that each aspect is like a title of an early learning goal, and that each of these early learning goals fit into an area of learning and development. So some areas of learning and development have 3 learning goals and some have 2. Okay, get it? Okay, so on page 8 there is a table for making relationships aspect of personal, social and emotional development, early learning goal. Now, with the observation, assessment and planning record in front of you, either printed off or on computer, add the observations. Add the observations, there they are. From the child's learning journey to the most suitable aspect. For example, if you have an observation, Jake helped Ratan to put on his coat, you might add that observation to the first space and then making relationships row in the observation, assessment and planning record. Next, you should assess whether broadly the child's development is in line with the development statements described in the Development Matters table. Now, this isn't an exact science, and you need to take into account that babies and young children develop at their own rates and their own ways, and you'll see that the age bands overlap really to help to allow for this. The assessment should then be written in the assessment column next to the observation in the record, and then finally note any planning ideas that will help the child to develop in each aspect. You can get planning ideas from the Development Matters table. Have a look at the descriptions in the positive relationships and enabling environments columns for inspiration. Now, this might seem like a big task, but often it only needs to be completed for each child every few months. And as you've already have your observations, it is really just a case of adding these in, checking against expected progress, and then adding in high-level activity ideas. And even better, for younger children, really you should focus on just the 3 prime areas of learning and development, which are these are the first 3 tables in the record. So the planning column from the observation, assessment and planning record feeds then into the child's personal plan, which is the 3rd stage of the EYFS circle. Okay, so now we move on to the child's personal plan, which makes up the 3rd stage of the EYFS circle, and it draws from the observation, assessment and planning record developed in the previous stage that we've just gone through. A child's personal plan is again needed for each child. You can complete this record by reviewing the plans that you've written in the child's observation, assessment and planning record. Pick out the learning priorities that you want to give priority over the next few months and then add them to the learning priorities column, most likely adding a little more detail to the key areas. The detailed planning outcomes from this record feed into stage 4 of the EYFS circle, your weekly activity plan. And that's what we come on to now. So the weekly activity plan is the 4th stage of the EYFS circle. This is a single sheet plan of activities that you have organised for your setting for the coming week. So it's one sheet really for all children within your care. We'll go into more detail about that now. Drawing from the individual child's personal plans, add activities for the week. So here you can see there's a few different child's personal plans for 3 children in your care. Pick out the priorities and then create activities that will help those priorities. Use the coloured coins to show which of the 7 areas of learning and development the activity promotes. The challenging part can be that each child has his or her own unique plan, but it's likely really that you only want one weekly activity plan in your setting. Therefore, you may want to create activities that can be carried out by children at a variety of development levels. For example, one that I did once was a sowing plant seeds activity, in which we sowed plant seeds into small pots. The older babies could play a stacking game with the pots. The younger children could put soil in the pots, and older children could count out the seeds. You can do sort of similar things with baking. and other cooking. It may be necessary though at times to develop an activity that is targeted at a specific developmental area for a child. Remember that the weekly activity plan is a guide also, and to allow children to choose and lead activities frequently, and of course to make sure that the activity is safe for each of the children. The outcome of these activities then feeds back into each of the child's learning journeys and thereby continuing the EYFS circle. So that's an explanation of how our EYFS circle works with our 4 key observation, assessment and planning type documents. We hope you liked this video. You might have a different way of doing it. It might well work for you. If you've got any ideas on how we can improve this, then that's great. Please let us know. If you have any questions as well, please contact us. The best way to get in touch is by writing to us using our Contact Us form on our Contact Us page. So go to www.thechildmindingcafe.co.uk, click on our Contact Us page, and please get in touch. We'd love to hear from you. Okay, thank you. Bye.